What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my full card breakdown and predictions for UFC Paris. We have Ciryl Gane going against Tuivasa.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
And we're back for another full card breakdown and prediction video this week, breaking down a very good card, UFC Paris. We have 6 newcomers, a card where it's kind of changed around a lot the last couple weeks. We have a lot of people coming in on short notice. We'll talk about all those, but a very good card overall, especially that main event, Tuivasa, Ciryl Gane, and that co-main event, Robert Whittaker, Marvin Vettori. Sorry I'm getting this out on a Wednesday, which is probably the latest I've gotten out my prediction video, probably in like a year. It's been a while. Usually get them out on Mondays. I'm very sick. I think I'm like 99% sure I have COVID. I was going to kind of wait till tomorrow, but seeing that this card is going to be an early start time on Saturday, I figured I'd suck it up, get on here and talk about the picks, because I got all my research done on Sunday, started feeling a little bit sick on Sunday, and that just constantly got worse and worse as the days have gone on. So hopefully I'm feeling better soon. Just have no energy and just feel like complete crap. But hopefully it's a good card. I do have a ton of bets. I think I have like 12 bets right now. Looking at 2 more, about to place those probably after this video. So you want access to those right now, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. I was able to get on there and do a lot of content, get a lot of that done. Almost done with my article as well. Just lots of content on there, $10 a month. And then I'll also be talking about my bets Friday on the live stream, and then Saturday for best bet. I think I might actually do best bet maybe Friday night, since we have an early start time on Saturday. We'll have to see, but make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you do leave a like so you don't miss out on all the other content throughout the week. 2 weeks ago, we did the contest, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards, significant strike contest, and congrats to Ryan Ramstack. The correct answer was 138 significant strikes. Ryan got it right on the dot there. He was actually, I think, the 5th or 6th person to comment on a video that had 498 comments. So Ryan, congrats. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram with your Cash App or PayPal. I will get you your winnings. But yeah, guys, I'm going to try my best here. I'm dying on the inside. But I should be able to get through this and talk about these picks here and talk about some spots so we can make some money this week on UFC Paris. All right. Let's start with the first fight on the card. We have Stephanie Egger going against Eileen Perez. We have Stephanie Egger, who's 34 years old, 5'6", with a 68-inch reach, 77-3 and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Eileen Perez, 27 years old, 5'5", with a 65.5-inch reach. She is 7-1 and 4-1 in her last 5 fights. Gonna refresh my odds here so we get up to date on these odds, and we do have Stephanie Egger opening up -145. She instantly went down to -350, and she is currently back to -243. Some money as of late is coming in on Eileen Perez. Perez, she opened up +125, went all the way to +285. She is currently at +208 there. So this is one of those fights where it's kind of tricky, but it's kind of not, where you take a look at Eileen Perez and you watch a tape on her and you're going to see nothing but good things. You're not going to see any bad things, and that's because she's looking really good, but she's looking really good against some of the worst competition you'll ever see in your life. I mean, she's beating 0-0 fighters. Her one loss comes by a disqualification where she kept kneeing her opponent in the head. But other than that, I mean, she's looking good. She's getting takedowns. She's aggressive on the feet. She has power. She has finishing ability. She looks really, really, really good. But the problem is she's looking really good against low level of competition. And this is going to be a big step up. It's going to be a monster step up in competition for Eileen Perez, going from some of those fighters on the regional scene to Stephanie Egger, who has fought really good competition, who's beaten fighters like Shanna Young, beaten fighters like Jessica Rose Clark, which are decent, lost to fighters like Tracy Cortez, lost to Mara Bueno Silva in her last time out. She's fought the much better competition, and it's just not even close. So yeah, although I do like what I see from Eileen Perez against these lower level fighters, I just don't think it's going to really translate against Stephanie Egger. But maybe it does. I mean, we really don't know. But I have a feeling Stephanie Egger will be able to get the fight down to the mat. And if Stephanie Egger can get on top, she's very dangerous, finishing 6 of 7 of her wins. I believe 3 by submission, 3 by knockout. We saw her finish Shanna Young by TKO. We saw her submit Jessica Rose Clark. And I have a feeling that Eileen Perez, somebody that has battled absolutely zero adversity, is going to battle some here, and I think Stephanie Egger does eventually get the finish here. So give me Stephanie Egger to win. Stephanie Egger to win by first round submission. It's a big step up for Eileen Perez, and it's a fight where I think we're going to learn a lot about her, because honestly, I haven't really learned a lot about her watching her beat up these cans. So Stephanie Egger is not a can. She's really good, and I will pick Egger to win. I'll take Egger to win by first round submission. All right, next we have Khalid Taha going against Christian Quinonez. We have Taha, 29 years old, 5'5", with a 69-inch reach, 13-4, in 1-3-1 no contest in his last 5 fights. We have Christian Quinonez. He is 26 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach, 6-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. One of the more closely lined fights on the card. Looks like it's about to pick him now. Taha opened up -150, currently -111. And Christian Quinonez opened up +130, and he's currently -109. So yeah, like I said, about to pick him here. And I get why people are taking the shot here on Christian Quinonez as the dog. I think he is going to have the minute winning ability here. Quinonez, he's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage, a 2-inch height advantage as well. I guess the big thing to note is Christian Quinonez is coming in here on short notice. Taha was supposed to fight. Who was he supposed to fight? I think he was supposed to fight Taylor Lapilus. So Quinonez is coming in here on about a week, a little bit over a week's short notice. Long travel over to Paris. So you don't really like that for him. But in terms of the minute winning, I do think he's going to be throwing more volume here than Taha. I do think he can mix in takedowns as well against Taha. But the problem with Taha is he is very, very dangerous. He's a finisher. He finished his one UFC win against Boston Salmon. He also did finish his win against Bruno Silva. That was the one that got turned into the no contest. But he dropped Bruno Silva twice in that fight. I know on paper it says once, but I counted twice. And then he also submitted Bruno Silva in the 3rd round. And I hear a lot of people talking about Taha thinking or saying like he's on his way out, he's done. I mean, the dude's 29 years old. I mean, he's still super young. And I do like Taha in this matchup. Especially considering, like I said, Quinonez is coming in here on short notice. He does have a long travel to Paris here. And on top of that, Quinonez, I question his durability. He's been finished 3 times. He's sloppy on the mat. He's getting reversed. I watched one fight where he was getting reversed like 5-6 times in just one fight. And Taha can crack. Taha can absolutely crack. Taha has a sneaky submission game as well. I actually think Taha does finish Quinonez at some point in this fight. I think people might be a little bit down on Taha because he only has 1 win in his 5 UFC fights, but look at who he's facing. Sergey Morozov, very tough matchup. Christian Quinonez, although he does have some wrestling, he has some grappling, he doesn't have the control and takedown control and grappling control of a Sergey Morozov. He lost to Hani Barcelos by decision. And then that no contest against Bruno Silva, beat Boston Salmon. Lost to Nad Narimani in a fight where he got taken out 6 times. I just don't know if Quinonez is going to come in here on short notice and just wrestle for 15 minutes, maybe mixing a takedown or 2. But I don't know. I think Taha knocks out Christian Quinonez. I think Taha gives Quinonez his 4th finish loss. And I'll say like a 2nd round knockout for Khalid Taha. All right, this is probably one of my favorite fights, if not my favorite fight on the entire prelims. We have Benoit Saint-Denis going against Gabriel Miranda. We have Saint-Denis, 26 years old, 5'11", with a 73-inch reach, 9-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Gabriel Miranda, 32 years old, 5'11", 16-5 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Benoit Saint-Denis, at this point, is the 2nd biggest favorite on the entire card. He opened up -210, currently -275. Miranda opened up +180, currently +235. So Gabriel Miranda is a fighter that just goes in there, completely balls to the wall. He kind of reminds me of like a Terrence McKinney without the striking. He's going in there, he's jumping guillotine, he's pulling guard, he's trying to get you down to the mat instantly. I mean, you go watch this guy's 21 fights, and you won't find any tape, any footage of him going out there and striking. He doesn't want to strike. He wants to get the fight down to the mat, and when he gets down to the mat, he's super dangerous. 16 wins for Miranda, 15 submission wins. 16 wins for Miranda, 14 of those coming in the very first round. He gets in and he gets out when he's winning the fight. His other 2 wins came early in the 2nd round. So all of his wins, all 16, come under 1.5 rounds. And you notice once the fight hits the 2nd round, he has nothing left. What is he? I think he's like 2-3. 2-2. I think he's 2-2 in fights that have left that first round, and you can see it. He's tired. He's tired, and that's because he goes all out in that very first round. Gabriel Miranda, like a lot of fighters in this fight, or on this fight card, is coming in on short notice. He's taken a long trip to Perez. Short notice guy is something you definitely got to mention in a fight where, just in general, he's slowing down after 5 minutes. What's he going to look like after a couple minutes on short notice against a guy in Benoit Saint-Denis? What I will say is Miranda is going to have a ton of opportunities here early. This fight is going to hit the mat, whether Saint-Denis takes it down or whether Miranda's pulling guard. This fight's going to hit the mat. I don't really see a ton of striking, and that's because Saint-Denis, he's a grappler in his own right, and Miranda just doesn't want anything to do with the striking at all. So I see this fight hitting the mat, and Miranda's going to have opportunities. He's going to have opportunities to maybe fight in a guillotine, something off his back. And Saint-Denis does put himself into some bad spots at times. But, Saint-Denis is a very tough guy. He's able to fight out of those spots at times. But Miranda's super dangerous. He's a black belt. Saint-Denis is really going to have to mind his P's and Q's, but he's going to have to mind his P's and Q's for about 3-4 minutes. Once the 3-4 minutes hits, he's toast, and you don't want to slow down against a guy like Saint-Denis. He's not going to slow down. So I think Saint-Denis does eventually break Miranda. Late first round, second round finish coming for Saint-Denis. Both these guys are finishers. Both these guys have a 100% finish rate, and I think Saint-Denis does eventually get that finish. But the first round is going to be crazy. If you have a bet on Saint-Denis, especially at these odds, you are going to be sweating because Miranda's a good grappler. He's very dangerous. It's just he's dangerous for about 3-4 minutes. So give me Saint-Denis here to weather the early storm, take over in that late first, early second, and eventually finish Gabriel Miranda, whether it is a TKO on the mat, finding a submission of his own. I think Saint-Denis wins this fight in that second round, though. All right. This is a fight that makes no sense why it is on the prelims, but it is. And we have Joaquin Buckley going against Nasrat Imavov. Imavov, 26 years old, 6'3" at a 75-inch reach, 11-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Joaquin Buckley is 28 years old. He is 5'10", with a 76-inch reach, 15-4 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. Nasrat Imavov is a decent-sized favorite. Yeah, he is. Open at -180, currently -260. Joaquin Buckley open up +155, currently +220. Yeah, Buckley is a guy that is having a lot more success than I originally anticipated. I remember he came in on short notice against Kevin Holland. Didn't really offer a ton of that fight. Eventually got knocked out, but he's going in there and he's having a ton of success against these guys, getting finishes. He carries his power late, showing very good takedown defense, a very good get-up game. So yeah, Buckley's a very good fighter, and I think that this fight could play out a lot closer than that -260 does indicate for Imavov here. Imavov is a guy that I'm super high on. They call him the Russian sniper. And they call him the Russian sniper for a very good reason. The guy's a sniper on the feet. I think he is the better striker here all around. I don't think he has as much power as Buckley. Pure power goes to Buckley, but Imavov definitely does have some power. Knocking out Ian Heinisch is not an easy thing to do. Also got that finish against Shabazian. Looked phenomenal in that fight. Was very, very, very close to finishing Phil Hawes as well. Was very close to finishing Jordan Williams as well. So pretty much finishing almost all of his opponents. In the UFC, was very close to finishing all those guys. And so both guys are super dangerous, but I think the minute winner in this fight is going to be Nasrat Imavov. I think he's the better striker here. I think he's going to be landing more on the feet, but Buckley's definitely going to have his moments. The big difference for me, though, is the durability of both guys. I think Nasrat Imavov is super durable. He has not been knocked down in the UFC thus far. He's never been knocked out in his career. He's sitting on 14 fights. Whereas Buckley, he is getting hurt a lot. He's been knocked, I think, knocked out 3 times in his career total, and then also 2 times in the UFC. And I think Imavov does knock him out here at some point as well. So I do like Imavov to win. I think Buckley will absolutely have his moments. I don't see Imavov having success with getting takedowns and control time. I think this fight does primarily play out on the feet. But I do like Imavov to get it done, and honestly get it done by knockout. So yeah, give me Imavov to win by knockout. I'll say second round knockout. I think Buckley will have opportunities, but I think at some point Imavov's going to catch him, he's going to hurt him, and he's going to put him out. So give me Imavov for the win. I think this guy's absolutely the real deal. All right, next we have Fares Ziam going against Michal Figlak, we have another newcomer here in Michael Figlak. He is 26 years old, 5'10", 8-0, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Ziam, 25 years old, 6'1", with a 75-inch reach. He is 12-4 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Figlak is a favorite here, opened up as a pick'em. Currently minus 210. Ziam opened up as a pick'em as well. Currently plus 180. And this is a fight where, Ziam, I think Ziam's the more talented fighter overall, but I really don't think that's going to matter in this fight. For Ziam, the best case scenario for him is when his opponents are just sticking on the outside with him, playing a point fighting striking fight for 15 minutes, right? He's best when he's on the outside, taking his time. And he's a very good fighter. He's a very good striker, has a good striking background as well. But you see when guys take him down, he's struggling. You see when guys are pressuring him, he's struggling. So for Ziam to win this fight, I would like Figlak to be content to stay on the outside with him and strike with him on the outside. But that's just not Figlak's game. That's actually the opposite of Figlak's game. Figlak is going to be coming forward for 15 minutes. He's a dog. They call him the mad dog as well, right? It completely fits because he's a dog. He's coming forward, willing to eat one to give one, and that's just a style that's going to give Ziam some serious problems. And so, although I think Ziam, technique-wise is the better striker, probably the more talented striker, Figlak has that dog in him, that mad dog in him, whereas Ziam, he just doesn't. Ziam's just a point fighter that doesn't, look for the finish, at least not in the UFC. I mean, when he gets pressured, he just looks uncomfortable. We saw Vanderbini pressure him in the 3rd round. He had no answer for it. He looked scared when, Vanderbini was running after him in that 3rd round. He was running away because he wants to be on the outside. Figlak is going to do what Vanderbini did in that 3rd round, and he's going to do that the entire fight. He's going to press forward, make Ziam uncomfortable, and I also think that Figlak can mix in some takedowns as well. So, I like Figlak here. I like Figlak to win by decision just by coming forward, making Ziam uncomfortable, mixing in the occasional takedown. I think on the feet it'll be close. I think Ziam will absolutely have his moments, land some good shots. Figlak is pretty hittable, but I think the pressure is really going to give Ziam some problems. So give me Figlak for the win. Figlak to win by decision. All right, next we have Dustin Stoltzfus going against Magomedov. We will start with Magomedov, 32 years old, 6'2", with a 78-inch reach, 24-4-1, and 3-1-1 in his last 5 fights. Dustin Stoltzfus, 30 years old, 6 foot, with a 75-inch reach, 14-4, and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Magomedov opened up minus 220, currently minus 270. Stoltzfus opened up plus 185, currently plus 230. So Magomedov is the 3rd biggest favorite on the card. It looks like, yes. All right. I really like what I see from Magomedov here. The one thing that scares me, and really the only thing that scares me for Magomedov, I guess there's 2 things. But the one thing that scares me is not really going to come into play in this matchup. The first thing that scares me is the 1 year and 8 month layoff. That's a little terrifying for me, but that's really the only thing that scares me. The other thing that I was kind of talking about was his durability. He has been finished quite a bit. He's been finishing 3 of his 4 losses, so you don't like that as well, but I don't think Stoltzfus is going out there and knocking anybody out. So I don't think it's really going to come into play in this matchup in particular. But yeah, the layoff is the one thing that scares me. Other than that, Magomedov is a very good fighter. I think he's going to have a massive striking advantage. We see Dustin Stoltzfus, losing striking exchanges against Kyle Dawkins, losing striking exchanges against Rodolfo Vieira at times as well. Magomedov's striking is very good. He's very long as well. Looks like he's going to have a 2-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach advantage. Yeah, striking advantage goes to Magomedov, and a pretty decent one. And not only that, Magomedov has really good wrestling as well. Very impressed with the guy's wrestling. Very impressed with his grappling as well. And we see that Stoltzfus, that's kind of something else he struggled with in the UFC. His takedown defense sitting at 46%. Michal was able to get him down. Vieira was able to get him down 3 times. Dawkins was able to get him down twice. Pfeiffer on the Contender Series was able to get him down. He can be taken down fairly easy. So on the feet, I like Magomedov. I think he has a significant advantage. Stoltzfus, not the best striker in the world. Like I said, he's losing striking exchanges against Kyle Dawkins. I think Magomedov's a much better striker than a Kyle Dawkins. Stoltzfus a 47% striking defense. I think on the feet, it's Magomedov all day. If Magomedov wants to stuff the takedowns from Stoltzfus, keep it on the feet and outpoint Stoltzfus or knock him out, he can do that. or if he wants to take down Stoltzfus, exploit that 46% takedown defense, I think he can do that as well. So I guess I struggle to find a path to victory for Stoltzfus here outside of clipping Magomedov on the feet, which is just highly unlikely, or a potential submission off his back, which again, just highly unlikely to me. So I do like Magomedov here quite a bit. The one thing, like I said, is that layoff. But outside of that, I think this guy's very good. So I do like Magomedov to win. I think he can win by knockout. I think he can win by submission. Stoltzfus has been subbed twice, and I think he can win by decision. I guess I'm mostly leading decision just because Stoltzfus is a very, very tough guy. He can take a shot. So I'll say Magomedov by decision, but yeah, I do like Magomedov quite a bit. All right. We'll keep moving on to the first fight on the main card, and what a banger here. Charles Jourdain going against Nathaniel Wood. We'll start with Charles Jourdain. He's 26 years old, 5'9", 69-inch reach, 13-5-1, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Nathaniel Wood, 29 years old, 5'6", with a 69-inch reach, 18-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Charles Jourdain is the favorite. He opened up as a -200 favorite, currently -145. Nathaniel Wood opened up +170, currently +125. So yeah, Charles Jourdain coming off that, I'll say, impressive loss in his last fight against Shane Burgos, in a fight where I was on the Shane Burgos side, and I thought at the very worst, like it was a draw. I thought, sure, you can give Burgos round 1 and round 2, sure, that's fine. But round 3, I mean, how's that not a 10-8? I mean, Charles Jourdain went out there and outlanded Shane Burgos 84-26. He didn't drop him or nothing, but he clearly hurt him multiple times. Almost had him out of there multiple times. I mean, that's a 10-8 to me. And then, like I said, in the first round, it was super close. Burgos got some control in that first round, but it was Jourdain that had more success on the feet. Second round, that's a clear Burgos round. Burgos controlled Jourdain for the entire first round, or second round pretty much. So you could easily give the first round to Jourdain. Ultimately, you could easily give him the win as well. So either way, it's impressive to me because Shane Burgos is a very good fighter. He's huge for the division. You see Nathaniel Wood, this guy's a 135er fighting up at 145. He came in against Charles Rosa, was very undersized, and it didn't really matter there. It's Charles Rosa. I think size may matter here against Charles Jourdain. Nathaniel Wood's going to be at a 3-inch height disadvantage. Looks like they have the same reach there, but a 3-inch height disadvantage nonetheless. On the feet, I really like the striking of both guys. You have Nathaniel Wood, who's going to have, I want to say, the volume advantage, but I don't know. Jourdain throws a ton of volume in his own right. Charles Jourdain is landing 5.85 significant strikes per minute. He's putting up some insane numbers in terms of the significant strikes against Burgos. 113 in a fight where he was controlled for 6 minutes in that fight. He put up a 137 against Andre Ewell. Same thing with Nathaniel Wood, though. Nathaniel Wood a little bit more, landing 6.32 significant strikes, put up 97 against Charles Rosa, put up 136 against Casey Kenny in a loss, 131 against John Castaneda. So both these guys are throwing a ton. It's just a big difference between Jourdain and Wood is there's two differences. The first one is Jourdain has the power. He has all the power advantage in this matchup. He hits very hard. He's knocking people out. He's a finisher. He's finished all but one of his wins, 12 finishes out of his 13 wins. Nathaniel Wood, he has some power as well, but nowhere near the power of Charles Jourdain. And Nathaniel Wood has, I think, 0 knockouts in the UFC, and he's fighting a lot of 135ers. So is he going to go out there and knock out Charles Jourdain? No. Could he go out there and outpoint him, outstrike him, land more? Potentially. But it's going to be Jourdain that's going to be landing the harder shots. So even if it is close in terms of the numbers, what are the judges going to favor? Are they going to favor, slightly more volume of Nathaniel Wood? Or are they going to favor the big shots of Charles Jourdain? On top of that, the other thing that separates these two is the durability. One of these guys is super durable, and the other guy, I question the durability. Nathaniel Wood's getting hurt by 135ers. He's getting knocked out by 135ers. And Nathaniel Wood has been finished in 4 of his 5 losses, 2 by sub, 2 by knockout. He got knocked out by John Dawson in the UFC, and he was hurt really bad against Johnny Eduardo in his UFC debut. Hurt bad, I believe, in that first round. He was able to come back and get that victory in the second, but still, he got hurt by Johnny Eduardo. He's getting rocked in a lot of fights as well. And Jourdain's going to have opportunities to hurt Wood and hurt him really bad. Against Burgos in that third round when he turned it up, I don't know how Burgos was eating those shots. I mean, it made no sense. Burgos is just not human apparently, because those shots that Jourdain was landing in that third would have put most guys in the division down. And I absolutely think those same shots put Nathaniel Wood down, especially at 145 here, when he is, again, a 135, undersized 145 right here, Nathaniel Wood now. And I just don't think he can take those shots. And on top of that, in terms of the grappling, I think Wood, I guess he could get takedowns here. Charles Jourdain's takedown defense is not good, but it's not good against, a big 145 versus Nathaniel Wood, a much smaller guy, going to be able to take down and hold down Charles Jourdain, where, these bigger guys are not able to hold down Charles Jourdain. And on top of that, Nathaniel Wood has been submitted twice, and Jourdain is a black belt in BJJ. So, in terms of how the fight plays out, I do think it's close. But I do think Jourdain eventually touches the chin of Nathaniel Wood and eventually puts him out here. So I do like Jourdain to win this fight. I actually like him to win it inside the distance. I think he finishes Nathaniel Wood at some point in this fight. Could be in the first, could be in the second. But if it's not in the first or second, it's probably going to be in the third, because Charles Jourdain turns into somebody else in that third round. It's like he fights like a man possessed in that third round. Just goes all out. He showed it in the Burgos fight. Just went all out in that third round. The Yule fight went all out in that third round. Against Rojo, got that third round finish. Against Josh Kulabau, had a really good third round. I think that Charles Jourdain does finish this fight at some point. I'll say it's in the third round, but I do think he does finish Nathaniel Wood here. So give me Charles Jourdain to win. Charles Jourdain to win by knockout. I think he gives Nathaniel Wood his 5th finish loss. All right, next we have two newcomers. William Gomis going against Jarno Errens here. And we have Gomis, who is 25 years old, 6 foot, with a 74-inch reach, 10-2, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Jarno Errens, 27 years old, 5'11", 13-3-1, and 3-1-1 in his last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds here. Gomis is a pretty decent-sized favorite, and money looks to be coming in on him still. Opened up -225, went to -210, then -215, then -220, then -225, and it looks like it's going to keep going here. Jarno Errens is currently a +190 dog. I do like Gomis here to win the fight, and that's just because he has a clear path to victory. It's clear as day. Jarno Errens, he's a guy that kind of like a Figlak. He's a tough guy. He's a dog. He's going to press forward the entire time. He's going to try to get in your face. He's going to try to walk you down. There's just a big gaping hole in the game of Jarno Errens, and that gaping hole is something that William Gomis can definitely fill here with his wrestling. Jarno Errens, his takedown defense is not good. He's getting taken down in a bunch of fights. Like pretty much every fight I saw, he was getting taken down. And the thing is, it's not a huge concern that he's getting taken down this much. I mean, the bigger concern for me is he's getting held down. He doesn't have a get-up game, and he does have 5 submissions. I don't believe a lot of those, if any, are off of his back though. So is he going to submit Gomis off of his back? I'm not sure. I think Gomis, Gomis, as long as he comes in here, fights smart. I mean, the path to victory is there to take. Take this guy down. He's not going to stop your takedown. And if you do take him down, he's probably not getting up. So, I think Gomis wins this fight. On the feet, I favor Errens in the striking. Gomis is striking solid, I suppose. I just don't like the fact that he is backing up. He is a counter puncher. He does throw some decent kicks, but just a lot of backing up. I would like to see him go for takedowns, absolutely, especially if I was laying -225 on him, which I'm not. But, you do want to see Gomis go for takedowns here because it's just the path's so clear. Once he gets on top, he has very good ground and pound. He kind of has like that Aspen lad ground and pound where he's yelling while throwing strikes and causes the ref to step in at times. But, Jarno Errens, very tough guy, 17 fights, never been knocked out. I don't think Gomis is going to knock him out. I definitely don't think Gomis is submitting him, but I do think Gomis can take him down, win minutes, control, and grind out a decision. But it comes out to Gomis's game plan. If he goes out there and strikes with Jarno Errens, and if he is content to strike for long periods of time, which in his fights, sometimes he does do that, it's going to be super close. But if he takes that clear path to victory, he probably makes it look easy and wins a lot of minutes on the mat. I just don't like the get-up game of Jarno Errens. So give me Gomis to win. Gomis to win by decision. Should be a good fight with two newcomers here. Okay, next we have Nasrat Haqparast going against John Makdessi. And let's start with Nasrat Haqparast here. So Haqparast, he's 27 years old, 5'10", with a 72-inch reach, 13-5, 13 and 5. He's 2 and 3 in his last 5 fights. John Makdessi, 37 years old, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach, 18 and 7, and 4 and 1 in his last 5 fights. Let's take a look at the odds. And Haqparast opened up -200, currently -233. Makdessi opened up +170, currently +198. All right. So 2 things. Makdessi is coming off of a decent sized layout, a year and 4 months. So he had a surgery on his leg or something like that. So he's dealing with that. Looks like he's all better now, but still, surgery at 37 years old. Something got to look into a little bit of a layoff as well. So that's a concern there for Makdessi. Haqparast, he had surgery, I think on his finger or his hand, something. He broke something. I think it was his hand. So he is dealing with injury as well, coming back here. He fought about 6 months ago against Bobby Green. So I think this is a pretty competitive fight, a fight where I don't see this fight hitting the mat at all. We take a look at John Makdessi. I don't think he even has 1 takedown. Maybe he has 1 takedown. No, he has 0 takedowns. 0 takedowns, and the dude has, I think, 18 UFC fights. 0 takedowns to show for it. Haqparast, he's not going out there and wrestling. I think he has 1 takedown, and he has about 10 or so, 9, 8, around there. A good amount of UFC fights. So neither guy is going for a takedown. So this fight is going to be standing. And something I noticed was Makdessi in his fights, he has 18 UFC fights, right? In 16 of those 18 fights, he's actually outlanded his opponent in significant strikes. He's putting up some really impressive numbers here in these 3-round fights. Against Ross Pearson, 131. Against Bahamondes, 124. Against Medeiros in a fight he lost, got dropped in that fight, landed 114. He's putting up some very good numbers, almost always outstriking his opponents. On the feet, you gotta favor Haqparast, but is he going to look minus, 230? Is he going to look minus 225? I'm just not convinced. Yes, Haqparast is going to have the power advantage, but that power of Haqparast hasn't really translated to the UFC. He only has 1 knockout win in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 UFC fights. Only 1 knockout win. Is he going to knock out Makdessi? I don't know. I think this fight does go to decision. If it does, I think in terms of the numbers, it's going to be super close and competitive. And maybe even Makdessi outlands him a decent amount. You take a look at Haqparast, he's not putting up a lot of volume at all. Only 76 strikes against Bobby Green. Bobby Green outlands him by, for 114. Against Dan Hooker in a 3-round fight, lands 27. Against Rafa Garcia, 99. Munoz, 104. 124, 93. I mean, he's putting up some decent numbers, but you take a look at Makdessi, he's putting up some very decent numbers. So in terms of the volume, I feel like it's going to be close, if not Makdessi here. It's just Haqparast is going to be landing the harder shots. Haqparast is 10 years younger. That's significant. But something I noticed about Haqparast is this guy just not looked good lately, really at all. And I don't know if it's, the level of competition, because, Dan Hooker and Bobby Green, that is a pretty big step up. But he's just not being competitive with either of those guys. I mean, he looked really good coming into the UFC, beat Mark Diakese, got that knockout against Silva, looked really good. He did get knocked out by Drew Dober in the first round. Beating Munoz and Rafa Garcia on the short notice, those are okay, I suppose, but just looked horrible against Dan Hooker, looked off in that fight. It was just all Dan Hooker the whole time, only landing 27 significant strikes, and against Bobby Green just didn't offer anything. This is a really close fight. And I'm actually going to side with the dog here, Makdessi. I think it's going to be very competitive. Makdessi has 69% striking defense. That's probably, don't have the numbers in front of me, but one of the best striking defenses in the division. I mean, that's extremely impressive. Landing 5.57 significant strikes per minute. The only thing, though, is he is coming off of an injury. He's coming off of a layoff. He's 37, and I think that's why we're seeing the line where it's at. So outside of that stuff, outside of the age, the injuries, all that, looking at the fight itself, I feel like it's a super close fight. So I'll side with the dog here, Makdessi. I'll say he wins a very close, greasy, probably a split decision. But yeah, give me Makdessi for the win here. All right, 3 fights left, and it shocks me that this fight is on the main card, and Buckley Imavov is on the prelims, because I just not excited about this fight, and probably one of the toughest fights to call, for me at least, on the entire card. We have Alessio Chirico going against Roman Kopylov. We have Chirico, 32 years old, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach, 13-6, 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Kopylov, 31 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach, 8-2 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Odds are about that even. We have Chirico opening up -150, currently -112. Kopylov opened up +130, currently -108. Yeah, this is a fight that I'm staying far away from a betting perspective. I'm just not big on either guy. We have Alessio Chirico who throws nothing. I mean, it's so frustrating watching this guy, and even worse, having a bet on this guy because you're yelling at the TV. You know, let your hands go, dude. What are you doing in there? Against Zach Cummings, I had a bet on Chirico, and that bet took 4 years off my life because I'm yelling at the TV like, do something, you know? Do something, dude. I mean, landing only 53 significant strikes against Zach Cummings in a very close fight. I felt like a takedown could have maybe sealed off a win here against Zach Cummings, and then he gets dropped in the 3rd round. It's terrible. Gets knocked out by Abdulrazak Al-Hassan in his last fight. And I don't know. I mean, he just stands there at times, just not let his hands go. I think he's a good fighter. It's just I don't like the volume. I think he has some wrestling as well that he could use. It's just he doesn't really use it as much as he should, and I would love to see him use it in this fight. So I'm just not high on Chirico at all. And then you have Kopylov. Then you have Roman Kopylov, who, same thing or even worse in terms of letting his hands go. He did nothing against Karl Roberson. He got submitted and taken down by Karl Roberson. Horrible look. Against Duraev, a fight where he should have the striking advantage, right? He should. But it's Duraev that goes out there, shoots 0 takedowns in the first round. 0. And Duraev outlands Kopylov almost 2-1. Like, what's going on? Kopylov's even worse in terms of the volume. He's only landing 2.72 significant strikes so far. Chirico, it's not good himself, but he's landing 3.3s. He's doing slightly more. I think this fight could be super boring. I think this fight could be absolutely very boring. In terms of a pick, I'll go Chirico, I suppose, and that's because he will be doing slightly more, and he has a clear path to victory. Clear as day. Takedown, Roman Kopylov. His takedown defense on paper has held up. His grappling does not look good. Duraev, basically, she should have finished. I mean, the ref very well could have stepped in and stopped the fight. If Karl Roberson's taking you down and submitting you, there's a problem. Why can't Chirico go out here and take down Roman Kopylov and have success on top? I think he could. Do I trust him to do that? No, I don't. But I think that's in his back pocket. You're on the feet. It should be close. I think Chirico is going to slightly do more. And then, again, if he mixes in a takedown, that probably does enough to seal off that round. So give me Chirico for the win. Not a big fan of this fight, but I am a big fan of this co-main event. We have Robert Whittaker going against Marvin Vettori. We have Whittaker, who is 31 years old, 6 foot with a 73.5-inch reach, 23-6 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Marvin Vettori, 28 years old, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach, 18-4-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Let's take a look at the odds here. Whittaker opened up as a -220 favorite. He went down to like -260, it looks like, 250. And currently back to -210. Vettori opened up +185, currently +180. And I think it's a really good fight for Robert Whittaker. I'm actually confused why money is coming in here on Marvin Vettori. Because I take a look at it this way. Robert Whittaker has phenomenal takedown defense. Very, very good takedown defense. I mean, you don't take down and control Robert Whittaker. It just doesn't happen. On paper, he has, an 83% takedown defense, but it's his get-up game that's very good. If you take him down, okay, that's fine. Are you holding him down? You don't typically see that at all. Is Marvin Vettori going to take down Whittaker? He can try. Is he going to hold down Whittaker? I just don't think so. So I do think this fight primarily plays out on the feet, and if it does, I mean, who's the better striker? It's Robert Whittaker here by a decent margin. I know Marvin Vettori has had a lot of success in the striking against Paulo Costa in that weird fight where they went up to light heavyweight. Costa didn't want to cut the weight. Costa gassed out in like the first couple minutes, but was able to like weirdly get better as the fight went on. He had some success against Costa in that fight. He had some success against Jack Hermanson. Had some success against Andrew Sanchez. You see that against Israel Adesanya, he's taking him down a little bit, and then Adesanya's popping back up, and on the feet it's Adesanya all day, right? And we saw Robert Whittaker be very competitive with Adesanya in his last fight. I thought Adesanya won the fight, but I was with a couple buddies, and they were shocked that Adesanya got the win. But yeah, I thought Adesanya slightly got it done, but no, it was super close. In the first round, Adesanya had that knockdown, but outside of that first round, every other round was competitive. The striking was competitive. Robert Whittaker even mixing in a takedown here or there. So yeah, really could have went either way for the Adesanya fight, honestly. But I think it's a good matchup for Whittaker. I think he stuffs the takedowns. I think if he gets taken down, he's popping right back up. I think on the feet, Whittaker's the better striker here. I think it's as simple as that. I think it's almost too simple. Like, is Vettori going to knock out Robert Whittaker? I don't think so. Whittaker, I guess, is the one thing that scares me typically is his chin. He has been knocked down a lot. He has been knocked out twice, but Marvin Vettori has, I think, 2 knockouts in his career. He only has a 11% knockout rate. So is he going to knock out Whittaker? No, that's not really Vettori's game. Is he going to submit Whittaker? I'd be shocked. Is he going to win minutes on the feet? Again, I'd be shocked. I think it's a good spot here for Whittaker, and I think Whittaker does win this fight by decision. The reason I say decision is Marvin Vettori, the guy has a brick for a head. He's never been knocked down, never been knocked out. I don't think Whittaker's going to submit him. I think Whittaker maybe could drop him, potentially, with a head kick. But Vettori, this guy's chin's unreal. He ate that head kick against Paulo Costa. I don't know how he was still up. So, yeah, I think Vettori's tough enough to survive 3 rounds here. So give me a Whittaker to win by decision. And finally, we have the main event. We have Ciryl Gane going against Tuivasa. He'll start with Ciryl Gane. He is 32 years old, 6'4", with an 83-inch reach, 10-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Tuivasa, 29 years old, 6'2", with a 75-inch reach, 15-3 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. We have Ciryl Gane, who is the biggest favorite on the entire card. He opened up minus 300. He's currently minus 600. We have Tuivasa open up plus 250. Sorry if you guys hear the noise in the background. They're getting the garbage there. But he opened up plus 250. Tuivasa is currently plus 400. I feel like no heavyweight should be this big of a favorite just because all it takes is one shot. And Tuivasa is more than capable of landing a big shot. But I do get why Ciryl Gane is the favorite here. He's better in every single aspect of MMA. Outside of pure power. Pure power goes to Tuivasa, no question about that. Tuivasa is a finisher. He's finished, I believe, all but one of his wins. But Ciryl Gane offers so much more than just knocking out guys, right? Ciryl Gane is a guy that, especially in the big cage here, I like the big cage for Gane. He's a guy that can stay on the outside. He's a guy that, he's content with just winning. He's content with winning the fight. He's smart. His fight IQ is phenomenal. He's content with not going out there and, forcing a finish. He's a guy that is good at avoiding risks. He's good at not getting hit. And I do think he's going to do a lot of that in this fight against Tuivasa, at least early on. Tuivasa in the first round's a monster. When he typically is finishing fights, they typically are in that first round. He does have 2 finishes in the UFC in that second round, early second round against Derek Lewis. And I believe it was against, Sakai? I think he knocked him out in the second round. Let me double check here. But I remember he knocked out somebody. It was Lewis in the first round, and then he knocked out, yes, it was Sakai in the second round. My memory was correct. Early in the second round, though. And then once the fight does get out of that first round, Ty typically slows down a bit. And then I have serious concerns what happens if this fight does get out of that first round for Ty and after that round and a half. I think as long as Gane survives that first round and a half, this should be a pretty easy night at the office for Ciryl Gane, just sticking on the outside. Tuivasa is going to want to close the distance, get into a brawl, and Gane's not going to allow that to happen. He's going to be content with literally running away, circling, and staying at distance as much as possible, and then closing distance, pushing Tuivasa against the cage. I think it'd be wise for Ciryl Gane to mix in the occasional takedown here, because we saw Sergey Spivak take down Tuivasa 6 times. And I know there's a big difference between the wrestling of a Gane and a Spivak, but we saw Spivak take him down 6 times, and Tuivasa has a very good get-up game. He got up the majority of those times, but we saw once the fight got into that second round, and once Spivak was able to get Tuivasa down that 5th and that 6th time, once Ty was tired, he didn't get up. So I feel like Gane, especially if he can get takedowns in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, if he can get a takedown in one of those later rounds, I feel like he can finish the fight here. Whether it's a submission, ground and pound, because man, Tuivasa's ground game is not good. We saw Spivak submit him fairly easy, which Spivak is a very good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but Spivak's a guy that kind of wears on you. Spivak's a guy that couldn't finish Alessio Oleinik, a gassed Alessio Oleinik. He's a guy that it took him 9 minutes and 30 seconds to finish Jared Vandera. He couldn't finish like a Carlos Felipe. It took him 8 minutes and 40 seconds to finish Augusto Sakai. He finished Tai Tuivasa like mid second round. So that's because Tai Tuivasa got tired. And I feel like if Gane mixes in the takedowns, I feel like Tai Tuivasa will get tired probably even sooner. And it also takes away the risk of Tai Tuivasa landing a big shot when you are on top of Tai Tuivasa, when you are pushing him against the cage, and you're not only taking away the risk of getting knocked out, but you're making Tai work. You're getting him tired. And I feel like if Gane does do that, hold him against the cage a little bit, like he did against Rosenstruck even, I feel like that'd be pay some dividends there. So. But yeah, I like Gane everywhere the fight goes. I think Gane has a massive advantage on the mat. We saw Spivak get him out of there. We saw Junior Dos Santos get him down in the second round, knocking him down. And once he got on top of Tai Tuivasa, the fight was over. I mean, Tai Tuivasa looked like at that point he never had ever been on his back ever. He was throwing punches from bottom, just did not know what to do. And yeah, if Ciryl Gane gets on top, I feel like the sub is definitely going to be live there. And I'll actually say he does sub Tai Tuivasa in that 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. I think it does get extended because I think Gane's going to play it safe. And there's no problem with that, nothing wrong with that. Because if you get this fight out of a round and a half, that eliminates a ton of Tai Tuivasa's win conditions. So I do like Gane. No hot take for me. He's a big favorite, but a big favorite for a reason. Should he be this big of a favorite? Probably not. It's heavyweight, but I think Tai Tuivasa has about 6-7 minutes, 7.5 to find a knockout. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, I think Gane takes over, gets the fight down at some point, finishes the fight, maybe hurts Tai Tuivasa to the body late in the fight. Don't really see this going 5 rounds. I'm kind of looking at a later finish for Ciryl Gane, maybe 4th, 5th round, 3rd, 4th, 5th. But maybe it could go 5 rounds. Maybe Gane is content. Gane is definitely content to just win the fight. He's not going to force a finish if he doesn't need to. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I do like Gane to win. I like Gane to win. I'll say by submission in the 4th round. But yeah, should be a very fun fight. All right. We did it, guys. Went through all 12 of the fights. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Just hit 17,000 subs, so thank you guys so much for that. The goal is trying to get 20K by the end of the year. Huge goal. That'd be awesome. If you guys have not subscribed, please be sure to do so. If you guys want extra content, be sure to sign up at dfsbythenumbers.com. In the process of working on the article, all my bets are out besides 2. I'm about to place those like right now, though. Tons of action for this week, and I'm going to try to start getting ahead. Hopefully, I'm done with this sickness soon, so I can get ahead. We have I think 279 next week. I think that's next week, and then another very good card the week after. So going to try to get ahead, try to beat some of these lines. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Barely made it through the video, but I did. Had to get it out. No matter what, nothing's going to stop me. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Best of luck at UFC Paris. See you guys.